Hey guys, it's Oluchi for Ways Breakfast. Thanks for always tuning in. Our research has shown that you're probably not subscribed to our channel. What are you waiting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you never miss out on our latest content and stay in the loop with all things Ways. If the channel grows, it means more great content for you guys. So hit that subscribe button now. It's a Monday morning, and Monday is the start of a brand new week with endless possibilities. Embrace the day with a smile and let your enthusiasm set the tone for a productive and fulfilling week ahead. Welcome to Ways Breakfast, hashtag What Are You Saying? And my name is Oluchi Omenka. And of course, I'm always here with my ladies. Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you enjoy the musical intro? Good morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning, I must say. So how are you doing today? How was your weekend? What's your plan for the week? We can't answer all those questions, but I'm just filling you in.
How was my weekend? Aside from the biting fuel scarcity and the cost effect on prices of both boat, Uber, and public transport system, I mean, it's quite crazy. But if there's one thing I enjoyed on Saturday was because I was overtired. I said I was not going to cook. I stepped out with a couple of friends to have a bowl of amala. It was nice. Although it did not end well. I mean, we missed our road. We were driving, so we missed our road, and then we found ourselves at Badagry. The rest is history.
Interesting. God's beauty. Tell me you had more adventure.
What? Did you call that adventure?
That's an adventure.
I'm finished on the way. That was an adventure.
That's an adventure still. How was your weekend, God's beauty?
That one, tell me. Mine was restful. Like I went for pedicure, manicure.
I can see the whole beauty
God.
radiating in
What's
God's
this?
remember to look at me.
I'm here.
Oh, guy, get she rest big. But I mean, it was because I felt like I needed it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was always too busy, so I felt like I wasn't taking like proper care of myself. So
I think
I needed to do that.
Yeah, everything we mentioned last week, you ended up doing it. You know, you mentioned self-care and all of that. So my own weekend was very work related. I had articles I needed to complete. I finally did them. I went to church. I had an amazing time with the brethren. And what else did I do? I slept okay and I ate okay. And we're here again, Monday
Am
morning.
I the only one having issues with the floor? Did
You're
you
not
guys
the
like
only one,
fly
no.
mopping stick or?
Actually, I know how to teleport now. Yes, I'm going to teach you guys after. All right, if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, this is Monday, a new week. Please go to our official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now, like and share the link, and be part of today's conversation. Today we'll be discussing WAEC age limits. Are we missing the bigger picture? And we'll be joined much later by an esteemed guest, a friend of the house, actually, to dissect this topic. So stay with us. We'll be right back after the short break. Glad to have you back from that break. Now let us take a look at the news from the pages of today's newspaper. Today we'll have the Punch, the Vanguard, and of course the New York Times. I'll start with the Punch newspaper. The major headline reads, petrol scarcity set to worsen as NNPCL admits 6 billion naira. $6 billion debts, pardon me. Debts to petrol suppliers has caused financial strain. PMS supply threatened, says NNPC. Petrol queues spread, motorists lament as fuel marketers decry PMS shortage. Below the major headline, we see hunger protest. Federal government arraigns activist British ally today. Wanted ex-beauty queen surrenders to NDLEA for drug offense. And Zenith Bank posts 2.1 trillion naira half-year gross earnings. Above the major headlines, we see Dangote refinery petrol ready for rollout and power generation down by 1,400 MW as discos reject allocations. Nigeria has second highest rate of food insecurity, says Bill Gates. An external commentary, I must say. So the major headlines, of course, has to be the topic for the day. Even though we're discussing something else, this is just across all the Nigerian newspaper. Even if you don't read the newspaper, if you walk around, if you're entering any transport source or whatever, you would know what we're facing. And this new discovery is quite amazing. I'll read the full story, and you can check it out on the Punch website. It says there are indications that the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, may rise in filling station as Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited finally admitted that it was facing challenges due to a $6 billion debt. After weeks of denial, the NNPC admitted on Sunday that it owed its petrol suppliers a sum of $6 billion, saying it was facing financial strains due to the petrol supply cost. Wow. What's so shocking in this news is after weeks of denial, it admitted that, guys, there's really a problem. And this debt, I do not know the impact that we're even yet to see, but what's really the way forward? You know, it's what's shocking is that after this whole story of petrol scarcity, above that, it's saying Dangote's refinery petrol ready for rollout. So it's like a mixed feeling. So we are already inside the well. We're looking for the rope to get us out of the well, and we're wondering where is help going to come from. So that's really the state of the nation right now. So pick your struggles.
I guess the same thing is applicable to the Vanguard newspaper because the major headline says no end in sight to petrol scarcity as economy grapples for breath. I mean, the economy has been strangled, now it's grappling for breath. Another one says, commercial banks give agri sector 4.68 trillion naira in 5 years. This is a report compiled by correspondent. Zenith Bank maintains top position with 2.1 trillion naira earning in first quarter of 2024. Article demands listing of NNPCL on stock exchange. Another one says high interest rates, 2.5 trillion naira loan, strangulate consumer goods manufacturer. And the last headline I'd like to touch on is, of course, from the sporting scene. Conte bashes Osimhen from Napoli. Let me just quickly touch on the sport because we often don't talk on our sport. Okay, so Osimhen has been in the news for a while now because he was about to be sold to another club. So it was either to choose Chelsea or an Arabic club. Arabic club was offering way more than Chelsea. Chelsea was just offering a little. So people have been bashing him even before they signed the deal. People has been bashing him. Okay, let's see if Osimhen will choose Chelsea or will choose the Arabic club that has more money to
I think
pay
about
him.
114
Do you get? So, but as at that time, he didn't choose Chelsea, and I think he was tilting more to the Arabic side, of course, because of the money. So Conte here is just bashing him for leaving Napoli, but then a win is a win, I guess. So let's move to
the New York Times.
Yeah.
All right, so there's nothing really going on the New York Times. I'll just quickly read out the headlines so everybody, stay tuned to it. All right, the New York Times, by the left side of the newspaper, we have toxic forever chemicals turn up on farms in the United States. Research detects contaminant in fertilizer made from municipal sewage, rather. By the left side of the newspaper, we have Maracaibo, people leave, mystery don't. Next to that, YouTubers help to rule the bro vote for Trump. Beneath that, from the sea, thousands creep to land in the epoch of the Great Lego Spiel. Next to that, which is the last headline on the newspaper, has young draftee thrust in front in Russia's war. So that's all I have for you on the New York Times.
All right. Thank you very much for that, God's Beauty and Shola. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll go straight into the topic that we have for today. So stay tuned. We'll be right back shortly. Hey guys, it's Oluchi for WAEC Breakfast. Thanks for always tuning in. Our research has shown that you're probably not subscribed to our channel. What are you waiting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you never miss out on our latest content and stay in the loop with all things WAEC. If the channel grows, it means more great content for you guys. So hit that subscribe button now.
Imagine the world where the voices of the youth finally get the spotlight they deserve.
Welcome to WAEC Breakfast, the groundbreaking show where young minds unite together to tackle issues that truly matter.
We're flipping the script on traditional morning talk shows, and this is your chance to hear the youth speak out.
We're not just skimming headlines, we're diving deep into the heart of topics that impact us all.
From politics to governance, tech innovations, mental health, and trendy social issues.
We don't just discuss, we ignite conversations that inspire change and spark action.
Join us every morning for fresh, young, and vibrant perspectives
that empowers the next generation to make a difference.
Start your day right with WAEC Breakfast, because when the youth speak, the world listens. WAEC Breakfast, weekdays at 8 a.m. live on Upgrade TV. Welcome back, people. So today we're diving into a topic that's been sparking debate across Nigeria, the WAEC age policy. Recently, the discussion around age limit for students writing the WAEC exams has gained traction, with many questioning its fairness and implication. But as we examine this policy, are we truly seeing the whole picture? Beyond the rules and regulation, there are deeper issues at play: educational equity, access, and the future of our youth. So today we'll explore these dimensions, asking whether we're focusing too much on the surface and missing the underlying factors that could shape our education system and society at large. Joining us to discuss this is a seasoned journalist with a passion for political programming and reportage. With years of experience in the field, he has developed a unique perspective on Nigeria's political landscape. He's committed to delivering unbiased and insightful analysis, making him a respected voice in the industry. His name is Olugbenga George. Good morning, Mr. George. Are you with us? Are you with us now?
Good morning. I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. How's your Monday morning looking like? Mr. George, are you with us?
Whoa.
All right. Seems we have a bit of an issue. Good morning, Mr. George. Are you with us now?
Yes, I'm here. I'm with you. Morning. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay, okay. I guess it's the
I
Monday.
am with you. I can hear you.
Perfect, perfect. So today I want to discuss the WAEC age policy and its implication. It's want to really look at it in a very holistic manner today. And it's no news. We've had a debate around the age limits for WAEC exams. And we're curious, I am curious, what do you think might be driving this policy in the first place? Is it really about maintaining standards, or could there be other underlying factors that we as Nigerians or even parents or students should be aware of? Let's start the conversation from that point.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so I think I'll begin from the point of the fact that this policy is not a new policy in Nigeria. It is only that we have had successive governments who do not follow up with existing policies. And of course, a population of people, to just jump out of processes. Nigerians generally, we do not like to follow processes. We do not like to follow due processes. And what will be the responsibility of the government to ensure that people actually do? You see the government filling its responsibility in that regard. So the 6334 educational policy has been introduced to Nigeria. Apologies for that. All right, since 1982, which is over 40 years ago. So, but we have not followed it to the letter as usual. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it has been made popular, is one that is desperate to take very hard decisions. And like we have seen in some of the decisions it has taken, policy is concerned, especially policy implementation. So, government is doing active movement.
All right, seems we have a bit of a technical issue. So let's bring the topic to our own table. One thing about this particular policy that got me really interested is the back and forth that has happened as regards it. And it makes me wonder, what does it really mean to make policy in our nation today? Is that somebody just wakes up and says, okay, there's too much fuzz and news about petrol, let's distract the people and bring something in the education sector or sport, just something else to get people much more interested, so that, I don't know, I'm just picking up one controversy story like that. Because what does it take to implement a policy? We see that this policy was implemented by the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, and then few days later or few months later, after people have come out to give their opinions about it, it is being brought down. So that back and forth really makes me wonder, what do you think really goes into making policies in our nation?
So I was going to start from where you ended, which is, yes, you already withdrew the statement that federal government is no longer reassured stakeholders that federal government is not introducing a new policy on the minimum wage of writing WAEC or NECO or entering to the tertiary institution, which begs the question, why did they now decide to just come out one day and say, okay, from 2025, secondary school students must clock age 18 before writing WAEC or NECO. Not even before entering university, must clock 18 before writing WAEC. I understand that part of the hazard effect of this is that we end up having underage going into the universities. I will know how universities can be jambito, freshers. We know how the final year students or the male folks or the female folks prey on these freshers because they really do not have much idea of the outside life, because most of them are either coming from their parents' house, school bus, school, or transport, home church period. So now coming to that outside world where they are being free, every little opportunity they get, they tend to over misuse that thing. I get that point of view. But would have been nice if they said, okay, you can write your WAEC at any age, you can do your NECO at any age, but then before you enter university, you can now be 18, or maybe you are 17 plus. So maybe when your first year university, you would have clocked 18. So by then, anything that you do wrong in university, you are solely and solely responsible for that. Because people like me that I was born in November, when everybody would have clocked 18, I will have to wait for the following year to actually enter university, which means it's slowing down my pace in life. And then it's really wrong because the Nigerian sector, the Nigerian education sector is a bit messy right now. Going into the federal university or a state university means I have to dedicate and I have to plan extra 1 year or 2 years for strike, for electricity strike, ASU strike, Kowasu strike, or one of the strike. So it's really wrong having them to wait for 18 years, forgetting that not everybody will make their JAMB once. Some their WAEC once, I mean, some will actually do their WAEC 2 times. Some will end up doing combined results. Maths, English from WAEC, then civic education, government, history from NECO, and then combine it together. So it's actually not a good one for them. But then it has been brought down. So that's a cool one. But why did they suggest it in the first place? I don't understand. Let me let you see.
Before God's Beauty continues, I think our guest is here with us. Mr. George, are you with us now? Mr. George, are you with us now? All right. So it looks like the conversation is coming back to us. You're going to say something, God's Beauty.
Okay, so, I mean, let me start off from what he said before we start having technical issues. Now, I said this is already an existing policy. I beg to disagree because, now, if you're saying that people, I mean, once you finish secondary school, then you have to wait for like an extra 2 years for those that finish at 16, extra 1 year for those that finish at 17 before you are able to write WAEC. If it's for JAM, that's understandable. I think I've heard something around, oh, you must get to 18 and all of those things before you, enter school itself, right? But saying students should not write WAEC because of you feel like they are not matured enough. I don't understand what maturity have to do with, we do with age and all of these things, because we have people that are way older, but these people are not matured. Do you get what I'm saying? So now pondering on all of these things, right? It now made me understand that even like once you finish school, right? The first question is, what is the government doing exactly? Because it is one thing to say, oh, we have the Minister of Education that is supposed to be ensuring that the students, the plan of the, or do I say, with the work of the government is to ensure that every other citizen, it's probably, like, what do I call that, is learned, right, is lettered, is an illiterate, right? Now, if you finish secondary, first of all, even the government school itself, we don't have people that literally educate us enough, right? So we are out of school, what next? And they keep complaining that, oh, we have lazy youth. Oh, they keep clamoring on the fact that there are a lot of youth that are not responsible and all of those things. They are not even doing anything to make us responsible. Like, let's look at this very well. You go school. Your parents don't even have enough funds to take you to school, right? They ensure that you finish your secondary school and all of those things. It's not like there's any organization that take care of vocation, teach the students what they should know, what they should learn before that they can start making money for themselves before they even enter this university. You will still go to university. There's still no job.
Sorry to cut you. I was going to say something. When policies like this are made, I think a much more holistic approach to it is to look at the implications. And when I mean implications, I mean international implications. Because if you make policies like this, of what advantage do our students have with international students? Because this age policy that we're giving, I'm sure it is very not applicable, to international students or people abroad that are schooling. And then that's why we have some of our students going over there to continue their college degree. And then you mentioned something about maturity. I think the education system at this point should start considering alternative measures to test people's intelligence, because our education system is so focused on the cognitive. That's how the WAEC is, right? WAEC is your math, your English, your biology, test, paper, pen, whatever, and then the result comes out. I remember when we were having one guest on Friday talk about, she mentioned something about that. other things to test. Their emotional intelligence to test for people. If they were considering that, I think that maturity problem would have been solved rather than the age problem. Because the truth is, you can still have an 18-year-old who is still very immature, a 20-year-old who is still very immature. You can have 14-year-old who are already so mature. So I think the educational sector, as somebody who has, you know, gone around that space in a while, like, you know, just touch here and there, I know that at this point we need to start advancing and looking for other ways to test intelligence, because gone are the days where you think, you know, intelligent quotient, that we call it IQ, is just what you got in your maths or in your English or in your chemistry and physics. There are other things to test. You know, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and there should be tests that can allow for that. So that's maturity part that we're talking about and saying is because we know that when they are 16, they'll go and be joining bad gang. That's really not the issue and problem.
Then I also feel like if they want to put something like this in place, there should be measures, and it should start from the grassroots. Oh, instead of 3 years being the entry level, being the entry age for a child to be admitted to a proper primary school, not kindergarten or crèche or this thing. I think instead of 3 years, maybe increase it to 4 years, right? So then maybe from there, from 4 to 9, they're leaving the primary school. Maybe then, I think it will still end up, the age grade will still end up crashing at 16. Maybe you cannot tell a child to wait 5 years, then enter primary 1 at 6 years. I mean, or just low, like Yorubas will say. Right, apologies for that. So I feel like in other countries, like in China, like in Japan, put in something in place. Okay, when they are graduating from secondary school, they are entering like a training center. They're entering like maybe ICT, maybe tech skills. Because please, I don't want to be hearing tailoring anymore. I don't want to be hearing hairdressing, makeup.
But there's a better way to put that tailoring. I mean, fashion design, fashion illustration.
There are 1,001 fashion designers out there. It will amaze you that some bosses, some fashion designers, I mean, world-class fashion designers, they don't take trainees anymore because they are scared of impacting into people. And then, how many people are actually making ready to wear anymore? How many people are actually going for OWMBs? Yes, people are going for OWMBs. But right, everybody's focus is to eat first. Now, when I chop first, I go come your wedding, you know.
It's true now.
Which is the truth.
Look
at us. We are 95. We are 95 people. When was the last time you actually ordered for ready to wear outfit? Before, I used to have styles like 2 or 3 of them. But okay, I can just send like 50K, like 2 of them, make ready to wear for like 4 pieces or 5 pieces, and then. But right now, this couple months, I'm not sure I've thought of buying a new outfit for myself, because my priority now is not on the food, because the cost of food. I went to stock operations groceries over the weekend, and I spent like 9,200, and it was not up to a bag. I mean, I was just going home like this with this very light-weighted bag. So we don't want to be hearing tailoring anymore. Let's think of innovative ways. Okay, when you leave school at 16, from 16 to 17, you either learn maybe data analysis, based on the course of study you want to go and study in university, maybe engineering. I understand that parents don't want people to go to polytechnics, in which you should link it to NYSC saying polytechnic students
without IT
experience cannot serve again. We're changing these things every day, but we're trying to change them in the right direction. No and yes. If IT, normally they said HND, I think HND is the highest one, higher national diploma.
Yes,
it's the same thing with BSc. But we understand that in the labor market, BSc is way more than HND. Right. But they are now saying that after HND, you should go for 1 or 2 years IT or SciWes before you can be allowed to actually study. Forgetting that the age level, the age grade for NYSC stops at 30. Some people already spend more than 6 years of their life in university already, in polytechnics. You're not telling them to go for, yes, I understand IT is important, SciWes is important, either 3 months or 6 months. But making it like a 1 year, like 2 years, bro. I went to a teacher's training college, and I did 6 weeks, 2 times 6 weeks, year 3 and year 4. I went for teaching practice. It helped me. But look at me right now. Am I teaching? Do I intend to teach? Maybe yes, I intend to be a lecturer, a part-time lecturer. But I don't intend to teach. So many things I learned that we did tree diagramming. We were analyzing statements. The boy is called me D article, boy now, under now. We now have modifier. Did all those things. It was so unnecessary. And now here I am not using it. Right. All those parallelograms that we did in university, X, Y, open bracket, square bracket, this. What are we using it for right now? So we should be looking at things that will help us. We are not having courses. We are not having full-time jobs like content creating. So if we're having full-time jobs, let's channel training to content creating. Let's channel training to data analysis. Let's channel training to courses that the professional landscape has changed. So if you want 18 to be the limit, okay, then from 16 to 18, you do an exam, you do a course, a 9-month course, then you take an exam, then you graduate to the next level, then you take another course. Then we know that, okay, that 2 years, they are actually doing something tangible with their brain. Because the human brain, if most of us had finished school when we finished our BSc, we had gone for our MSc, maybe our brain would have still be very fresh. But some of us took break. Let me go and hustle for money. Now we are going to do our MSc. Our MSc is not, or our MA. It's not a bit hard. We are now trying to bring back that our reading and highly proficient brain that we had in uni. It's not a bit hard on us. Now imagine, you know, so let me just wait to give birth to my kids and then I will not do my PhD later. You can imagine how difficult it will be. Because you now have more this thing to think of. So that's really not...
You know, when you mentioned that MSc, I remembered this challenge that we did when we had finished school. And, you know, there's this challenge of marriage or masters. And a lot of people were going towards the marriage part. Why? Nobody... Let me use absolute terms like nobody, but some people were not interested in furthering with, you know, master's degree and more educational degree. And I think it's because of how the system is right now. It's not encouraging to... I went to a federal school and it's... Let me tell you my story, a bit of storytelling here. So I went to a federal school, right, university, and then there was ASU strike, there was COVID, a 4-year course turned to a 6-year course. And I entered the university at an appropriate age, but look at the time I'm leaving. And leaving the university at that point, there was a lot of questions. People from private unis, some of my friends, you know, from home, we asking, Oluchi Precious, have you not graduated? I'm like, I've not graduated. It doesn't look like you have carryover. I'm not a dullard. I've just not graduated. So sometimes we really have to consider the time that is being spent in school because there are psychological effects to it. People now lose interest. Yeah. I was so surprised. If you ask these same people in 100 level, do you want to go for your master's? Do you want to further your degree? I'm sure that enthusiasm is still there to, yes, I'm, you know, pro-education, I'm pro-academics, and they want to. But alas, look at a system that's the timing, you know, it's not even encouraging. These are issues that have not been sorted yet. We're looking at age. So like I was saying before, the intentions are probably good, but many times it is how we address those intentions, the motive behind it that really needs to be looked at very carefully. It's very noble to, you know, have the personal social, what's it called now? Personal social care of a child in mind before they enter school, because we know what happens in university is a very wild space, whether private or public. But we should really start thinking. I haven't seen tests. I have not even written such tests myself. Except if I go online and maybe check for one IQ test or mental intelligence test to even know how socially smart I am rather. We don't have such in the educational sector, except maybe some people that go extra. So this leads me to the last question before we take a short break, but we might just have to touch it a bit, is what other implementations do you think the educational sector should start focusing on more, looking at the education system in Nigeria, from primary to secondary to university? And this is where we take our short break. So have the question in mind. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation, and probably with our guests as well. So stay with us. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, viewers. This is still Ways Breakfast, and on Mondays like this, we discuss politics, governance, and leadership. Today, we're talking about the WAEC age policy, the limits, and its general implications. So, we've been discussing this for a while, and we've mentioned quite a number of things. I think I asked a question before we went on the short break, right? I was asking a question on what other implementations of policy do you think the educational system is not paying much more attention to and having this kind of distractions?
I'll start with number one.
Oh, sorry, we have our guest. Let's hold our thoughts so that our guest can finally let us in on his thoughts. Mr. George, good morning. Are you with us now? Good morning, Mr. George. Are you with us now? That goes. That's all right, Shola. It's your turn.
I was going to start with the practical one before going into other ones. The first thing is, can we stop doing junior WAEC?
I don't understand why.
That's
what
very
do you
interesting.
Junior WAEC for? If I may ask.
I think it's now called
it's
Beke.
to actually prepare them.
What did you use it for? Because I think up until now I've not collected the result.
Same here, but that doesn't mean it's a bad idea. I think it's just more like,
what's the motive behind the exam itself?
hey,
It's just like every
It's
other
just
transitional
exactly
exam
like
from
the
the
common
junior
entrance.
secondary to the senior secondary.
You know-
That we understand that the common entrance is that transition exam, but either you pass it or you fail it, you still go to SS1, yes or no?
Depending on the school that you're going to.
You really, I attended a public school. We really do not need it. School be conducting our own mock exam, which will be the determinant of you passing to the next level, right? It's not the junior WAEC. So that's the first thing I like to touch on. The second one is our curriculum reform. Some of our curriculum are still as archaic as when our parents were taught, when we were taught, and how. So our curriculum should be reformed. That history that we removed, let's put it back.
yes, we need that history.
We need
actually.
to put it back. The likes of civic education, I feel like civic education should be kicked out.
No, you can't kick it
It
out.
should be
Let's bring
revamped,
back
rather.
history. Let's not
If
make
you-
the
if
history
you-
as wide as possible.
So-
Civic education is like the peripheral of history. Yes, they
The
will teach
surface.
us traffic lights. They will teach us red means stuff.
Now, this is why civic education is very important.
Right.
For science students, right? It's important that even though you are actually you are a science person and you need to just be informed on what's going on in the country, you need to understand what your human rights are. You need to understand those basic things that are in the Constitution. That's what civic education is for. And that's why they're not teaching you government or history.
That's
Do
why
you
I
understand?
said history should be impacted back into our
Definitely,
curriculum.
but you
And when I
cannot
mean
take out civic
impacted
education
back,
because of the
when I
science
mean
student.
impacted back, I don't mean science alone or art class alone or commercial class alone or tech, IT class. I think there's not technology class, B-tech class or something. It should be taught across board. Instead of civic education, we are not doing curriculum. I studied English in my BA, right? And we were taught chemistry and physics. We were
100
taught
level.
biology, not 100, I think like 300 levels. So we did chemistry, we did physics,
That's
we did
what I want to speak on,
biology.
but I want her to finish.
It wasn't related. Yes, it wasn't related to us,
Wow.
but we were told that I think they were service course or something. They gave it a name, not elective, because you cannot elect it. You must do it.
Do it, yeah.
So I had an idea of biology. I had an idea of physics. I had an idea of chemistry, even when I was studying English. So if you're studying science courses, then they should bring in a little bit of history. Now the next thing I'd like to touch on is public and private school collaboration. Right now, it now feels like public school are the schools for the poor and needy. Not poor and needy, extremely poor. That's why
Public
people
schools?
say, yeah.
Okay.
Why private schools are the schools for better pass my neighbor and
Okay.
then the rich people, right? So there should be like a collaboration, like maybe an annual exam or maybe like a debate competition, a quiz competition that brings both public school students and private school students together. I attended the public school, but then we're going out to a debate with all these schools, De La Salle, Hallmark College. They will come to our school. Apart from town sports, they will come. We'll go to their school for debates for this. It makes you mix with other students. It gives you more confidence. It makes you say, okay, you can actually do better, right? You understand, okay, the fact that I'm attending a public school doesn't mean that my public school is actually public. I attended a public school that was headed by a white. So our public school was not public, but it's public. Our school fee then was once in an entire term, is this semester? First time, second time, third time. What's it called? An entire session. Thank you. So then I also feel like technology should be imputed.
Technological inclusion, yeah.
Enough of computer lab where only one system, where only one computer is working. When you go to private schools, yes, they have the rights. Yes, they have all these things. Their physics lab is physics enough. But all these public schools, and they're the ones that do more WAEC, they do more of WAEC. But private schools do IGCSE exam. I hope it's correct. They do more of IGCSE. I hope that's how they call it. But they do this exam, this British exam that most of them don't even want to school in Nigeria. They already, from that school, they already transitioned to British college or one of these international schools out of the country. So this public school that will sit down and write WAEC, they are the one that will sit down and write NECO. But computer science, only one computer is working in the lab. Physics, the tubes, the chemicals, most of them are cake. They are not working. So these amendments are what I feel like should be included back or should be improved or in the educational sector.
Before God's beauty continues, there's something that you mentioned that I think is very key. So I attended a private school throughout my secondary school. And in private school, there's a way you can shine, right? Because you are not even a lot. Yeah. How many are you in the class? You're probably 15 or 20 in the class. So in my private school then, I think I was more of the star when it comes to debate competition, press club. I'd always come out. But the competition was it was just in-house. So if they call us, my friends that I know, 10, 15 of them, I'll be shining and say accurate timekeeper and all of that. Guess what, people of God? Eventually, we got an opportunity to do this competition in a public school. And I think I was the chief speaker, or the, what's that other word they call second chief speaker? Forgotten it though. Did you do debate in school?
I did debate in school. I represented my school.
I think I was the second speaker or so, but I was, going to talk that day, and we had this hat in our school. We were dressed. Public school students, private school, we are usually prim and proper, aesthetically. You have to show those public school people that they are teaching us very well. Please don't lose the conversation. We're talking about educational reforms that should be considered, and not just whole WAEC age policy thing. So we went to this public school. The crowd I saw that day, all my points vanished. And you just let me understand this point that you're talking about. That collaboration would have really helped, my social integration to be better. I realized that I was timid. I know public school students, let me not be very absolute again, but they can be very daring. Someone was telling us that, what's all this hearty power when people look like worried people? At that point, I'm wondering what kind of fashion style is it. But that social integration is needed, and that dichotomy that we have created needs to be gradually removed. So sorry for the little humor. Please continue.
No, it does make sense here if I'm to actually take off from that. So I too went to a private school, right, from very, very little down to my secondary school, right? So the thing is, what I think my school did or used to do then was go for, other private schools as well. They come together. I don't know about public school. I don't think we've actually had any collaboration with public school. Now, speaking to what she said about the whole once you're going to a private school, you're seen as, you're the rich and all of these things. When it comes to the government school and all of these things, I feel like it's already the perception of what all of us already, have. So it's not even going to go anywhere anytime soon, especially when the government are yet to, put infrastructures in place. Those things you made mention of, you think is you see it more in the private sector more, because these things now are individual based. Nobody wants to have a school that doesn't have a laboratory lab well furnished, doesn't want to have a computer lab well furnished. Do you get what I'm saying? It just takes us back to the fact that the educational sector here in Nigeria, let me not call it work, but I really don't know what the ministers are doing, right?
We need a lot of work.
They need to do a lot. They need to do a lot. So I think there was a time where I was speaking to House of Material about this whole thing in short, and it was actually going for all the ministers that have been on sit. They just go there, sit down, and probably only God knows what they do there. But it just shows that all these things are not really, like, they don't see it. Even if they see it, they don't work on it. So it's more like they are not seeing it. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, coming back to what she made mention of, I think that there are some of these courses that really need to be taken out, because it really no concern us. I don't know why I'm in a particular place doing a particular thing and I'm being taught something that doesn't really make sense. If it's on the 100 level, I kind of understand it, because we're coming in, so it just makes sense that you're taking almost all the courses so that at least you have an idea on what it is. But not heading to 200 level and above and you're teaching me what does not make sense. Because the truth is, take it or leave it. And I think that's why I kind of like the government school on this one. Now, they teach you 2, 3, 4 subjects. so that you don't get too clustered. When I was in secondary school, I think a day we take up to like 9-10 subjects for one head, one person, and you're supposed to go home because the kind of parents I have, all the thing that they have taught you, like from the mornings down to the evening, like in school, when you come back home, you have to read all of them. You have to read your book before you sleep. Do you understand? So if you now bring in too many courses for one person, how do you expect these people to pass? Not everybody has that time that you think they do. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think it's important that, you know, most of those courses that doesn't really make sense. I feel like once we keep coming up from the 200 level upwards, it should just be scrapped, like should be taken out. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what I think they should work on.
Then the private school should also be investigated, checkmate, and a lot of things needs to be done about some private schools, especially here in Lagos. Every nook and corner you turn to, there's a private school there. And I'm curious, I'm wondering if they have the proper license and if they are, and how relevant their certificates are. Because if these schools, they don't look, they're just inside. There's one in my street, very close to my house. When they are drumming the money, you'll be hearing, right? And I feel like this school will not be in existence in the next 5 years. So people that went to that school, when they need their certificates, where will they go back to? This is one of the reasons why I actually like public schools. Recently, I needed my testimonials or so. I just sent my sister to please go to that place, and then I just paid for more. It's normal payment. Just paid, and they counted 1, 2, 3 for like 10 to 8 years or so, and they just. It was so easy, very seamless. And I was imagining if it was a private school, maybe where the proprietor or the proprietress has died, or maybe the school itself has gone down or something like that. Where will I go back to get my certificates, to get my testimonial, to get all these things? So in private schools, really, courses like diction, Jackie Chan, I bought this, call it taekwondo. Yes, you understand their extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities should be different. When I was in public school, we had literary and debate club, we had press club, we had game club, we had, but all because like diction, phonetics and phonology, where my name is Mira, I am in Paramato. I feel like it is not necessary. This is Nigeria. We train our kids to speak in the Nigerian. VoiceOver, you can relate. In VoiceOver Academy, they will tell you that clients actually need Nigerian English, authentic accent. If they want a voiceover artist with British accent, they will not come to Nigeria. They will go to either of the British countries.
So are you saying they should scrap it out?
I feel like it should be scrapped out. I am tired of hearing Auntie Mira, my name. I want what?
I disagree.
Feel like it's so unnecessary.
I also disagree on that extracurricular part.
Let me further land my thoughts.
Okay.
Teaching kids on how to pronounce words well are very good. But changing their accent is what I really do not appreciate. Let them speak the proper Nigerian accent. Yes, not that water is water. Know that it's reportage, not reportage. It is stipend, not stipend. Let them know the correct pronunciation of these words. Don't fine-tune their accent that when they are talking, it looks like they are singing. They are singing. They are now, there's this dancing. In this case, they call it sing-song. You are now dancing your words. It's now, you know, it's not straight. You're not speaking well. So private schools themselves need to actually, all this unnecessary, yes, we are British International. We use British curriculum. We use this. Please just remove some unnecessary things and bring back things. Collaborate with public schools. Like that social integration. If you should go to a public school, I taught in a public school during my undergraduate teaching practice. I taught GS2A to E. And actually, they were GS2A to H. So I was teaching A to E, 60 students in a class. You don't want to say you will not be brilliant, you will not have confidence. You don't say you want to be timid, that you'll be in one corner. In a class of 60 students, A to E, A to H, I was teaching A to E. So all of these things will boost your moral compass. All of these things will help you. We are not training kids to be agbero, I understand. We are not training kids to be very strong. But we are also not training kids that cannot defend themselves when they get to universities. We're also not training kids that they will slap you, you have to come back home to meet your mommy. They will tell you to go back, go and fight that battle and make sure you win it, else don't come back to this house. So private schools should also ensure that they are not doing coaching center, all in the name of schools. Let me let you.
Yes, I think we have our guests now with us, Mr. Benga George. Good morning again. Good morning, Mr. Benga George.
Listening to you guys all along.
Oh, thank you for listening to us. So we've been talking about you know, other reforms and implementations in the educational sector that really needs to, be given much more attention beyond the WAEC age policy and limit. So I want to hear your 2 cents on that as well.
Okay, well, it's unfortunate that I only have the opportunity for 2 cents. But I'd quickly like to also touch on the major topic, which is the issue of the 18-year-old. I think we need to go back to that, and I stand with the government to seeing that this policy is actually driven home, because we have a lot of premature children, who are in high institutions, who did not follow the process of learning, to have developed their mental capabilities to be able to comprehend. Education, like you guys have been saying, is way more than just being able to add 2+2 and be able to pass examinations. You have to actually have some level of personal confidence. You have to have some level of maturity, to be able to understand the ways of life. Schooling is not really about the paper that we go to get from there. It is really about the life lessons that we can actually glean and how we can apply those life lessons to us. So I think for me, I would rather have the federal government, drive this policy home. However, I think there is a caveat to that, because when you look at why do we have that problem, in the educational sector, and why is the government doing this? You find out that most parents, have to get out of the house as early as 7 a.m. every day, to make ends meet for their children. So for them to do this, you can't have it both ways. So the government, first of all, needs to look at this implementation and realize that it is not something that should be implemented at once. As usual, we always have policy somersault. We always have some policies that are not applicable. This is applicable, but it must be done with style. It shouldn't just be introduced all at once and say that students who are not 18 years old cannot get into higher institutions. I support it, but I think they should take it gradually, because as we speak, the parents who will fend for these kids, have to go fend for themselves, first of all. They have to go to work. So what have the government done in terms of ensuring that the students, that the parents can actually afford the life that because if you say a 5-year-old child, for example, shouldn't go to school, a child shouldn't go to school before he's 5 years old. So where is he going to stay when the parents have to work? Who is going to take care of the nanny? You know how much it costs to put a child in a nanny this time around. So the parents still have to go to school. And who will pay for that? If you tell them to sit at home, do they sit with the children and then suffer hunger and lack? What will the child eat? So these are issues. The government should focus on making sure that the parents, have a better life and have better chances at ensuring that the Nigerian child has all the benefits that he needs and that the parents can access them, so that when there are jobs enough and that these jobs are scheduled in such a way that parents who are raising kids at that level can be considered, maybe given some sort of waiver, maybe their resumption time, or maybe there are a lot of options for, such parents to be able to take care of kids at that level. Then we can begin to look at this policy. It is not just about the policy, but the government, needs to also look at how implementable is this, how effective can it be, and how will it improve the lives of the parents and the students at large. Okay.
Okay,
so
Miss.
Having spoken.
Okay. Very sorry to cut you
All right.
short. All right, so I'd like to really
okay.
drive this home before we wrap up the show, because we're really out of time. Before you joined us, we were mentioning the fact that the intentions and the motive for having this policy, to enable mental maturity for students is quite, impressive, and I think it's worthwhile. But we are considering the fact that other options should have been, looked into. For example, the educational system in Nigeria, I think, really focuses heavily on the cognitive development of a child, and, the affective, the psychomotor, and other kind of skills are not really given much attention as they should. So do you really still agree or stand with your point that age, difference, or having that age gap is how a child can become mentally, strong or mature? Do you think that's really the solution to that mental maturity problem as we begin to wrap up the show?
Yes, Yes, yes. Morning, bro. Yes, I totally agree. Yes, and I stand with that point because when you look at it, all over the world, it's a standard. All over the world, and you realize, you look at our educational system, you realize that we like the copy kind of style. Everybody wants to be like the UK, the US, you know, and all of this. And all of these countries already have these policies working. No child starts school before 5 years old. All right. Although they homeschool them from that age, and there are certain things that the child is supposed to ingest or imbibe, you know, at each age, at each stage of learning. I think we should rather focus on that, you know, and if, for example, parents will have to put their children in nannies because, or leave their children with nannies, for example, we should now begin to look at what are those nannies going to give, you know, what is the quality of their education, what is the quality of their life, how much can they impact on the child, because the age 1 to 5 is one of the most important ages of the child. That's when the child learns to talk. That's when the child learns to think. You know, basically, that's when the child becomes a little bit self-aware. They begin to learn their name, you know, begin the fundamental development, like standing, like sitting. And the words that come to them at this stage will eventually form whom the child becomes when it's 10, when it's 15, when it's 20, most of the time. So I think it's, I stand with the fact that, yes, this policy is something that we need to implement, because if a child starts school by 5, then according to that calculation of 6,334, by 18, he should be getting into university. It is not too late, so to speak, because you see today, even there, I think when I was in school, I know 19 years old that graduated from the university. I know 20s that graduated from the universities, and maybe they performed well academically, but the other parts that you guys have talked about, what's the ability to be able to relate, what's the ability to be able to follow simple procedures, you know, I understand that this environment is a competitive environment of different people. That ability is not always there. You see the difference. You see, you know, in their dispositions, it's quite different. So I think I stand with that position that yes, the government with the policy, and so to speak, should continue.
All right, so this is all we can take for today's show. It has been quite an interesting discourse. Until tomorrow again, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., this is Two Ways Breakfast. Catch you tomorrow. Hey guys, it's Oluchi for Ways Breakfast. Thanks for always tuning in. Our research has shown that you're probably not subscribed to our channel. What are you waiting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you never miss out on our latest content and stay in the loop with all things Ways. If the channel grows, it means more great content for you guys. So hit that subscribe button now.